So I was just thinking that, like, Craig, I really appreciate your Twitter feed because you retweet good things.
I try.
And a bunch of those AI memes that those AI generated arts that I don't care for.
That's fair.
Yeah. No, actually, yeah, we were opening up about like how it's like, yeah, that it seems to be like, I know you really enjoy it, and I don't want to poo on it too bad, but like, I just, it's like,
No,
yeah, go ahead.
I'm not worried about that because for your impression of it is entirely understandable. It is. I understand the art theft look to it, because definitely people's art was taken without sort of permission and used to train this AI. That's absolutely something that happened. There's no way that they could have avoided. Oh, they definitely could have avoided that. OpenAI has this big like thing about how they train the AI, but they definitely used like people's work. But the way that I'm like looking at it is more along the lines of, if you go back to something like how do I put it? Professional artists have been sort of like copying each other's styles. I wouldn't call the output and the process of making an AI art theft. I would consider it more style theft.
I think
that's something that people have done for ages.
One in particular where I was kind of like on board with. There's like, okay, it's doing a cool thing. I kind of like it. There was one in particular you posted that just it just hit me the wrong way, where it was like an owl. And it had this really beautiful, like pointed, like scaly, feathery sort of pattern. And I was like, the computer didn't just invent that or come up with that by merging a few things it looked at. That is one specific artist's style. And it remixed it, but it's like all four of them were all like using that same like really, really, really beautiful, really cool pattern that a person illustrated for sure. And like that one specifically it poisoned the well for me. And like a lot of them are some cool things, but like once I saw that, I really started looking for, okay, so what was the human input that this is remixing? And it really just kind of soured the whole thing. That one was so good, and I wish I saw the human.
Yeah, I know, and I 100% know how you feel about that.
Yeah.
I do kind of agree with it as well. It's, from my perspective though, it's one of those things where it's just like, people have been sort of like copying styles since like the beginning of time. And I think that the biggest thing here is like the lack of human input. It's just, we've got these machines now that can sort of like do this thing where they study the style and then they can start replicating and remixing. And it can be sort of like mass-produced now, and it's unsettling.
But one thing I wonder is if it's possible to ask it, like, what, like, images it used to create that.
Yeah,
like,
where'd you find this?
Maybe you could source it.
That would be nice. I would very much appreciate it if the developers of these AI models actually, like, opened up what their training data was. The thing is, I know that that's something that they are currently like closely guarding, because it's one of the only things that's keeping them like, separating them, is like, what makes one AI model better than the other? The training data.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. The other thing is it kind of gets into like, under the hood like functionality, because I want to say that with some of the AI generated images, when it would do text, they started to find that some of the text it was using was actually like an internal shorthand that it had created.
Yeah.
So it's
yeah, I've heard about that.
For some things, yeah. When you look at things like OpenAI's, like they did this long-ass article about how they train their data. A lot of the text was actually intentionally scrambled so that, like things for protest signs wouldn't actually like be replicated.
Oh, interesting.
They did a lot of sanitization of like their input images to make sure that they didn't get anything unsavory as an output. And so a lot of things like text can sometimes just be gibberish.
I've heard of this, and it's actually a big like risk with not just like a lot of AI algorithms is that like we start baking in human prejudice into these systems.
Yeah, that it just like on the Dolly 2 thing, that's just a disclaimer on the bottom of the page. It's like, hey, if you get something that looks, culturally insensitive, it's because the internet is culturally insensitive and this thing's trained on the internet.
And they also ask you to flag it as well and delete it.
Giving the algorithms a sense of what's the word I'm looking for? Society.
Shame.
Yeah. Shame, yes.
Yeah, teach the computer shame.
Yeah, computer shame. Feel bad when you do this. I mean, like, when you have the human loop on top of the AI algorithm, like every time that you do a CAPTCHA, to train driving robots, that's why it's all like staircases, crosswalks, and bicycles. Stoplights, yeah. You know that bit you get where it's just like the stoplight is, and there's the grid. It's like select all the stoplights, and the stoplight's here, but it's also just like the little slice of it is in the next one, and you're like, shit. What do you want from me, robot?
You remember the XKCD comic where it's like, please identify the stop sign. Hurry, the car is approaching it.
Yes.
I thought you were going to bring up the one where it was like, tell me if this photo was taken in a national park and if it contains a bird.
I've worked on one of those, actually. I helped out. It was for a hackathon. Some folks were working on capture cams that were identifying wildcats in Washington. And it was basically just like they were working on the algorithm that got, that was identifying the cats. And it was a really early level of it where they're trying to identify cat, person, or nothing. And we were trying to set up the human interface that people could go back and look at, basically CAPTCHA it. Whereas, like, look at the result that the computer did and say whether it was right or wrong. I don't really have anything else to say about that. It's just a thing that happened.
Going back to the AI art thing, I think that going forward, I would like to see personally a lot more talk about the ethics of like what goes into the training of them. Just because, like, I understand the art theft argument specifically related to, hey, you used my images to train this AI without any consent of mine. But I also understand the concept of, yes, but a person can also study your images and start reproducing similar works, and there's absolutely nothing stopping them.
Yeah.
There's
So
something...
fundamentally, the idea of
I get-
generating the image is very similar to a person studying a style and then reproducing it.
I get that parallel, but there's something about it that doesn't seem fair. Where
Oh, you're 100% right.
where,
especially
like-
Sorry.
because it reminds me of Neil Cohn, who talks about how like in the East there's the way to draw comics is what we would call like manga style. It's like, oh yeah, you draw a face like this, you draw eyes like this, you draw a car like this, and it's kind of like there's a language that's very well established. And the con to that is it's all very samey, but the pro to that is it's much faster to learn. This is the way to draw. It's not even about being right or wrong. This is the way to draw. And then you grow from there. Whereas in the West here, like, to draw the same way as that person is to steal. And so you are expected to create your own style. And it's kind of weird, really. And it's like, and I think when I think about it from a linguistic or an anthropological standpoint, like, neither's really right or wrong. And there's pros and cons to both approaches, but they're both, a construct. And here's a computer is being trained to learn to art from art, but is a computer and not a person, and therefore, like, not beholden to things like accountability of, oh yeah, so I learned by looking at that person's art and that person's art, And like, you
Right.
can't ask the computer in an interview, how did you get so good? Well, I studied the work of this person, and I, etc. And because the computer's doing it so automatically, and it sources the entire internet, there's no love. And
There's
certainly
no
a
love,
human
and
being is capable of not
There's no-
having love, but
There's no thought.
yeah.
There's no love and
there's-
there's honestly no intent. Like
Exactly.
a lot of art, exactly. Like a lot of artwork, when you see it made by a person, there's this like, especially like really good compositions. The artist sort of like leads you around the image.
Yeah.
They have ways to make you focus on specific things, and currently, at least, an AI has absolutely no understanding of that.
So real
There's
quickly,
no
when
intent.
you talk about the interview, it reminds me of a story I heard where someone worked at like a video game company, and they went in to interview a new artist that they were looking to hire, and they said, "Okay, let me see your portfolio," and the person pulled out their physical portfolio and handed them some sheets of paper with art on them, and the person interviewing said, "This is literally my art. I literally drew this."
Fucking great.
Uh,
Oh, pwned. I love it.
That's how I felt when I got. I ordered stuff from Anna from her store, and she drew a bunch of my drawings on the box, and I saw them, and I was like, "Wait a second, this is so familiar. Like, what's? Wait, I drew these. I know I didn't draw them on a box. What's going on here?" Yeah, that's a weird feeling.
It, honestly, it kind of speaks back to like I was watching a GDC director roundtable, and I remember one of the directors was basically saying to prospective hires, like, stop filling up your portfolios with images that look like they were made by Simon Stalhag. Please.
Oh, I know who that is. That guy's
What?
a badass.
Yeah. But no, people like look at his art style and they're like, oh my god, that's so good. I want to do that. And then they do that. And then like you have tons of new artists that are looking for a job and they just have images that all look the same.
Well, in the case
I'll be
that
right
I
back.
was told, apparently what happened was the person interviewing basically thought, okay, here's what this game studio would want because this is the type of art they produce, and basically like basically tried to say, I make the stuff that you guys make. Wait, no, not literally, but
But yes, actually.
yeah.
So wait, it wasn't an issue of like it just looked the same, it was actually the other person's art.
It was actually the other person's art.
That's egregious.
Yeah, that's like you just give up in this industry. You are now blacklisted.
Exactly.
Oh gosh, yeah. So the other thing is like people talk about like these AI art generators like putting artists out of a job, but then I saw some professional artists joking about it. They're like, so what does the AI do when you tell it make the drawing pop? It needs to pop more.
That's pretty funny. Now, at work, almost everyone I've spoken with, we all see it as like a toy or another tool in the toolbox. Like, it's not capable of generating a good, like, no, Midjourney is actually pretty good at generating a composition, but it's not good at any sort of like level of detail. It all falls apart and turns into smeary messes. But like, it's very good at like, oh, we have a general idea of something that we want to do. Generate like generate 50 concept images for me to actually like use as a starting point.
That's one of the things Kimmy mentioned earlier before you got here was just kind of someone used it as an idea generator for a cover for their fantasy novel.
Oh yeah, and it's absolutely fantastic for that. It's just like you're not going to get a finished work out of it, at least not out of Midjourney. The two AIs that I've been using are Midjourney and Dolly, and Midjourney's extremely good at creating these very like wild and cool compositions and ideas, but it completely falls apart at details. Like if you try to ask it for something specific, it almost never gives it to you. You have to give it a set of parameters with different weights. Whereas Midjourney is just like, I want a thing, and it will give you exactly that thing, but typically the image it gives you is like too exact and kind of boring.
Hold on, I'm gonna bring in the seals.
The seal.
Oh yeah, yes.
Yeah,
I would like to see the seals, please.
So Craig, if you didn't hear it, what happened was this person had a fantasy web comic, and the premise is that there's like a magical seal that was sealing away the evil, and the seal is deteriorating. And Midjourney heard seal and was like, "I got you, fam."
Oh yeah, and put seals in it. Nice.
Hang on, I'll share it. I was thinking cat treats.
Midjourney's actually exceptionally good at generating poster ideas.
Mm.
I should maybe I should see if it can give me some cover ideas for a lot of
I
his
do like-
ideas.
Yeah, I threw one of my favorite things I ever generated with it was posters. There were 3 posters that I made, which was the latest movie directed by the Elder Gods, and that gave some pretty wild-looking compositions. Then there was
Oh.
like a poster for the time travel tournament, which was also pretty good.
What
Like
were you
none of it.
saying,
I was saying
Was
that I like how the letters, like, it looks like that could be a word, like Timerin.
Mm-hmm.
or
That was
something.
the title of the comic. It almost got the actual
Oh.
title. They
Nice.
put the title in. It was like
It's like-
the Tamarin. The Tamarin.
Yeah, I could see using like, I don't know, because like a lot of like what is it, the cat game that just came out. They have a lot of posters in there, and it's like sometimes it's like the fake made up language or something, or maybe
Yeah.
it's a fake letters real language. I don't know. And it seems like something like this with the AI would be a good way to just generate this fake weird looking text that's nonsense but like looks like it says something that you can't focus on it for some reason.
I love the title of this that looks kind of like the Yoni Young Corn.
Yeah.
Which one is that one?
The first one. These
Oh,
I see
Yoni
it, yeah.
Young.
Oh yeah, I see it. Now.
It's
Yoni
CORW. Coro.
Midjourney's actually kind of okay at, like, if you tell it what to say, it's kind of okay at putting the texts there.
Right.
Yeah, and like the bottom left one, it's like, maybe the word soul is in there or something.
Well, yeah, yeah. Well, everything needs souls.
Souls
Did I-
and or it could be seal again.
Craig,
Yeah.
did you hear about Fantasy Warframe Souls?
Oh, crud, what was that game called?
Don't fucking know. It's Soul something.
Yeah, I saw that.
They
looked
called it
exciting.
Souls
I mean,
for fuck's sake.
Soulframe.
Yeah.
They call it Soulframe or something. like that.
Motherfucker. It looks great. I'll play it.
I saw another one as well that was called like Lies of P. It's a terrible title, but it looks like Clockwork Bloodborne.
Mm.
Yeah, it looks like you're playing Geppetto or some shit with a box full of like puppets. It looks very strange. It's got the atmosphere down, but like I don't know if there's no gameplay in any of the trailers yet, which is sad.
Yeah. So it's what's the word for it? Shit. For when it's a trailer that's just completely full of lies. Fuck.
I mean, it looks like it's, in-engine footage. It looks like it's something in-game. It's just that there's no actual, like, gameplay. It's just walking around environments and things.
So, how do I use Midjourney?
Are you in their Discord?
I just entered. Do I have to be in there?
Yeah, you need to... So the way it works is if you don't have a subscription, you have to use one of the channels in their Discord, and you just type in /imagine.
Okay.
I'll give you an idea of a prompt. So I'll put it in the chat because it's kind of complicated how Midjourney actually functions. You can give it like a long string of text in sort of like natural English to try to give it an idea of what to generate. But
Mhm.
typically what you would want to do is, let's say, I'm going to put this in the web chat. Let's say I want a large owl, and then colon, and then the number for the weight. So 8. And then dark background, colon, 3. So the dark background is not as important as the owl. And then let's say cybernetic or something like that. And then I'm going to give give that a weight of like 6.
You're gonna
So
get that.
it's going to try to give me an owl with a dark background that's robotic.
I'm curious where this goes. Are
It's
you
gonna
gonna
be a
plug this in for us?
Flash of the
Yeah, I'm
Titans.
going to plug this into Midjourney right
All right,
now.
let's see how this turns out.
I'm a little bothered though that like everyone ends up seeing your prompts basically.
Yeah,
like, they
unless you
do-
pay like an exorbitant fee, everything's public. Even if you pay for like the subscription, which I have, and you can submit your prompts in private, where it's not like in a giant Discord channel, they still get publicly published.
That's
Oh,
kind of makes me feel a slightly bit more ethical about it.
Okay, so the one I did earlier is done, which
All right.
was when we started talking about posters. I asked it to generate a time travel tournament poster.
Oh, the time. Oh, wait.
The
Time.
the time tournament.
I like the Timel.
Tare. Timel. The Timel.
The time. Tikavkal.
Like I said, it doesn't give you any sort of details, but it gives you some fun composition ideas, at least.
okay, so if I wanted to generate, let's say
I
a
feel
poster for
rustled.
my webcomic, and I just wanted to toss in some like random like words from my comic, how would I do that? Like, would I want to type in like poster or like book cover?
Book cover would probably give you like a decently large bit of text near the top and bottom.
I feel like I already know what would happen if I tried to generate anything like Elves of Ix related, in that I would get like really established TSR elf covers.
Maybe.
I'm willing to bet.
I
hey,
don't
what?
think that you'd get that. I think you might get that out of Dolly. You definitely wouldn't get it out of Midjourney.
All right, I'm gonna try it
Sure.
and see what happens.
Yeah, you try it. I'm gonna try and think of like what I want to throw in there.
It's interesting that it like has to like think about it for a second and like it slowly works on it.
If you type in, type in 2 hyphens, is it a hyphen?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, 2 hyphens and then video at the end, you can actually watch the AI generate the image from static.
Oh, I'm actually seeing that right now.
how
I didn't
many-
give it the option. It's just doing it.
Craig, how many terms can you enter?
I don't think you can enter in as long as you can fit it into a Discord message. So I think like 1,000 characters.
Got it.
Yeah, it didn't really give me anything. It didn't give me a book cover. It just gave me an illustration.
Yeah, like I said, Midjourney, if you try to ask it for something specific, you usually don't get it.
That's probably too much. So that's what I would do on my own without any guidance. Craig, how could you? I typed it in at you.
Okay, let me see here.
Let's tone this down. How would I feed this well? So what I just sent to Craig was so Craig's thing for we're still working on large L dark background cybernetic.
Yeah, currently
Okay.
I'm in relaxed mode because I am out of like the fast credits, but
Got it.
it is actually coming along quite nicely.
Yeah. So I gave Craig the terms fantasy, elf, love story, forest background, and bounty hunter. Now,
Okay.
I think bounty hunter is going to break it. I don't think that's actually going to like what it would add to that. I don't think is going to be anything like remotely close to what I'm making, because bounty hunter
So-
thinks like,
You
modern
Amazon
bounty hunter.
Zelda.
Oh, what's this one?
I just typed in like Witch of Dezina book cover. It just gave me a bunch of
That's some
painterly
witches.
witches.
That's some witches.
So
I mean, it's pretty,
if you
but
wanted
it's like
something specific, you would need to heavily weight certain terms there. So
I
Midjourney
gotta
separates things with double colons.
Yeah. I
but what does
gotta
double colon mean?
Oh, the double colon is just a separator. It tells the AI this is the end of this text prompt.
got it.
Oh,
So-
okay.
But
Yeah, so, like, I
the
put large owl, dark background, and then cybernetic.
but the
so-
number after it means the
The
weight.
weight.
of it, right?
Okay.
relative to the other terms.
Because you know what I see from all of the ones that it fed Kimmy is that is some blue orange contrast.
Oh yeah.
I
Oh yeah,
think
Midjourney loves that particular
I think
style.
blue orange contrast might mean witches and or cool.
No, actually, if you don't specify an art style, that's just what Midjourney gives.
It
you,
oh
is
it,
blue
lo-
and
it
orange.
loves blue orange
Oh.
contrast.
It loves those colors.
Blue orange contrast is everyone loves blue orange contrast.
So that's what I got from Large Owl 8, Dark Background 3, Cybernetic 6.
Oh, let me see.
Completely ignored Cybernetic.
Oh yeah, no, it's got that.
Yeah.
I could see this being a robot thing.
Yeah, this is again when like the owl. I swear this is coming from that exact same place as the one I complained about earlier. Like this, like the triangle sort of feathery thing that this first owl has. There is a specific illustrator that it seems to love for this.
It gave one of the owls a cat nose.
I sees that.
It tends to do that, yeah.
Well, owls are basically bird cats.
I remember when I was giving it that combined prompt of rabbit, owl, it just like nose or beak. Why not both?
Yes. Yes. The genie doesn't know what you want.
No, like if you don't specify like a color or art style, you're just gonna get blue and orange most of the time.
Ah. Yeah, I think there is like a certain art style, but I don't know how I would describe it. Like, I want it to be lined, at least.
I'd probably say comic art then.
There's a
feel
whole,
like that's
um,
gonna be tough.
There's a whole reference guide onto like terms that Midjourney has been trained on, and there's stuff like all kinds of different styles of line art that you can feed it.
Okay.
Whether or not you'll get that, I don't know. Like I said, Midjourney is one of those things where it's just like it comes up with these very cool compositions, but if you ask it for something specific, you typically don't get it.
Yeah, no, it's got its tool. It's just like I say about art, it's got its toolbox, and it
Yeah.
can't really do anything outside of its toolbox.
Well, one of my favorite things to do is like it understands the aesthetic of like certain movies in games. So if you specify like a game or movie, it'll just like go, that's the art style I'm supposed to be using. Like if I'm gonna do the same thing that I did for the owl, except I'm going to include the term Bloodborne.
I'm sorry, Craig, but this particular point is really leaning into my it's art theft bit.
And I completely get that.
I'm just picturing one of those owls, but with the big Bloodborne hat on.
You know what it's like? It's like I feel like at the surface level, for people who aren't thinking about it too hard, there's kind of a misleading narrative about what this is.
Oh yeah.
And I think you need to know what it is, how it works, and what it's actually doing to get why it's either interesting or not magic. I think almost all AI is like that, where if you think it's just a computer thinking like a person, you're super wrong.
Yeah.
Actually, on that point, Kimmy, I haven't yet myself. Have you dabbled with Copilot?
What's that?
It's a thing that Microsoft did looking at a whole bunch of basically all of GitHub, and you can use regular language to generate like a well-formed computer code. And
I've been trying it out.
So one of the really, really useful applications I've heard of it so far is creating mock data for tests, where you can say, give me 8 instances of an object that has these properties, and it'll just generate you like completely viable like test data that an API might spit out. And so some of my coworkers actually have been like, oh, this is really handy for just getting that done.
I found it kind of interesting how you can sort of like write in a comment and then type in what you want your next method to do, and it will try to
Mhm.
give you a method that does that. It does not succeed most of the time.
That's exactly like I hear people excited about it, but whenever like someone gets excited about a machine learning anything, I'm like, okay, but does it work though?
Okay, here's the same prompt as before, but with the word Bloodborne tacked onto the end.
Yup. Okay, let's I'm gonna swap between it. There's the what was the prompt? It was
The prompt was large owl, dark background, cybernetic.
there's attempt 1, and then there's that with Bloodborne. Yup. I like this
Wait.
little circle with a tree right here. Fuck, I need to finish Elden Ring. I really need to finish Elden Ring.
I really need to play that as well. Like, I'm only like 5 hours in, and I just like put it
Yeah,
down
what's
because
your-
other games came out.
Yeah, it's kind of too huge.
There's okay. The Bloodborne one is hilarious.
Yeah.
It's just the cover of Bloodborne, looking at the guy from the back.
Yep. It's just that guy. It's just Bloodborne man. But owl though.
That's awesome because that's kind of what I was picturing.
All right. So what we're saying is
Bloodborne.
basically it's really good at mashups.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, it's gonna
Hey,
be the next
Hey, Craig,
princess
Yeah.
as.
can I get Optimus Prime Bloodborne?
Oh, let me see. I don't know if it'll actually give me that.
All right. Is there any like
Try.
really strong robot shape that can be Bloodborne man?
I'm just gonna give it Optimus Prime Bloodborne, see what I get. And
Yeah.
then I'm gonna go with, let's see here. I'm just gonna type in giant robot Bloodborne.
Okay. All right.
Because the thing about Optimus Prime is, like, I know for a fact that, like, I don't know about Midjourney, but OpenAI absolutely, like, if something was explicitly, like, a trademark or something like that, they excluded it from their training data.
Got it.
Like, if you try to get it to generate Mickey Mouse, it absolutely will not.
That's smart. That's good for your liability.
I wonder if you can say 3 circles, 2 smaller than one, arranged as a triangle, like edge to edge with each other. Just like trick it into making the logo. That'd be like a hidden Mickey.
It's like, oh yeah, it's all the all the success that people have ever had trying to lie to a genie. It always works.
First rule: can't kill anybody.
Okay, but can I put them in danger?
Yeah. Can I drop them from a height of any like unsurvivableness?
Those are 3, like, can't kill anyone, can't bring anyone back from the dead, and can't make anyone fall in love are 3 remarkably specific things that I feel like there's still plenty you can do a lot of damage with. Like, say, for instance, wishing you were a prince, which means that either you are now a blood relative to a king, or a country has been spontaneously created that you are a prince of.
I mean, it could turn you into like, I don't know, like a warlord or something, and you conquer a country too. Like, there's a lot of options.
Yeah.
There was the theory that the whole movie after Aladdin wishes to be a prince is actually his wish coming true, because if he marries Jasmine, he'd be a prince. So that's like
Fuck, I love that.
everything happens.
Fuck, I love that.
in
That's
a
great.
way to
That's
fulfill that
great. Cause that's a loophole to getting someone to fall in love with you. Is that like, well, yeah, but if you marry the princess, then you are a prince, and thus your wishes come. That's all right, Craig. That's pretty great. That's not bad.
I mean,
That's all right.
Ooh, this Shadow of the Colossus, Bloodborne.
No.
Giant robot Bloodborne is what we
Oh.
typed in.
and here, like, Optimus Prime Bloodborne gave us basically the same thing, but with Optimus Prime colors.
Yep.
Oh, hey. Yeah. Yeah.
That could almost be the
But
dark of the movie poster.
But the red and blue is actually great though, because it really puts like I think like I love the like the trees are just pink. Oh,
Yeah,
I hate
one, he almost has like the windshield pecs.
Yeah. I hate that I'm getting into it because I want to hate this thing so much.
It's just
Well,
another
like
movie
yeah,
tool.
like
Nope.
I said,
Gonna try to
for
pump ever.
sorry,
Jared.
I just talked over you.
Yeah.
Go on, Jeff.
Sorry, I was just saying, like, no one's ever going to take one of these images and, you know, like, copyright claim it or
You can't.
They can't.
or publish it as like official art or something. Like,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I think trying to use it myself and realizing how difficult it is to get precisely what I have in mind is disillusioning me to it a little bit, where it's like, okay, this is kind of useful, but you actually have to become quite skilled at using it and knowing exactly what you want.
And what
And
it's
at
got
that
in
point-
it, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, and at that point you still don't really have that much control over
Yeah.
what you get. And
And-
so it's like,
And it's like the one that got me is the way that it does on Owl is like that was the one that pissed me off because it like that is an artist that is pulling from, but like it can't pull from much else when you want an owl. It's like that's what it decided is Owl. It's
Yeah, I've always
yeah.
everyone that I've talked to, like in person, we all just sort of agree, like, this is just another tool in the toolbox. Like, if we want to generate a bunch of ideas, it's very good at it. But if you wanted to create, like, finished work, it's typically pretty bad at it. And then you move over to DALL-E, where it's like, it gives you the literal, as long as it understands the terms you're giving it, it gives you literally what you want. And it's typically not a great composition. It's just, you asked for a microphone, an osprey,
It's-
and a box of popcorn. You got all those three things in that image. They don't particularly make sense or look good, but they're there.
There was
We
one
are
that you
present.
linked earlier that was like it was like a bird and like a burger floating over its head, and it was like
Yeah,
four
it was
images
supposed
of
to
that.
be an excited osprey eating a burger. It's just like, look, excited osprey and burger are definitely there. They're not doing what you asked for,
Yeah,
but
the
they're there.
verb. It couldn't do the verb.
the AI is like, bird, burger, ah!
Hold board gently like Borgor.
Yeah, and the one where it's like screaming into the microphone, they're all like wildly different sizes, and like the perspective doesn't make sense at all.
Well, that's
It's
a
all
thing
just
I
kinda
think
like
it can
jumbled.
learn.
That's the thing I think it can learn as well, but it's one of those things where it's just like, it doesn't have a photo reference of this, so it's just sort of like, put the two things in the image.
Okay. Yeah, actually playing with it with you here now does demystify it a bunch, and not in any way like I've messed
No,
with
it still
AI.
feels
I know
weird.
what
It still
AI
feels
can and
weird.
can't do, and it's like, but it's like. It's like the art theft side of it really still bothers me, but it also is only stealing from a couple of things.
And it's another one of those things where I'm like, and there's two problems. It's just like, until they actually open up the training data, which they're never going to do, because right now it's the only competitive advantage a lot of these companies have,
Yeah.
besides just like access to lots of compute. We're not going to see what they're trained on, as well as there's also the argument of the process that it actually like creates the image with is not substantially different from how a person would study an art style and then try to replicate it, other than like human intent.
Yeah. That's human intent. That's just a little thing. It's not that big of a deal. It's like, don't worry about it.
It's the reason why AI artwork is not copyrightable according to the U.S. Copyright Office. You
Wait,
make an
Jeff, what
image,
is
but
this?
Nobody owns it.
Witch in a crazy hat in a manga. Whoops, it's hang on, it's zoomed in.
Yeah, I was using the Dolly Mini one. I was trying to do. At first, I was doing Witch of Dezina webcomic, and it just spat out a bunch of comic looking pages.
Yeah.
I tried to do something more specific, and it looks like it's trying to do a person in a hat wearing
it's
that another person's wearing, but the
Yeah.
brim is like connecting two hats. Or
it's got this weird
I love
cork.
how there's a person wearing a hat, and on the hat there is another person wearing a hat.
Yes,
yeah, I could see
coming
that
out of the hat.
happening in a manga or something.
It's like this.
That's-
This
it's
is
got
the
the eyes
tiny
right.
witch that lives in my witch brain.
Exactly.
It didn't know what to do with witch in a crazy hat, so it was just like,
The witch is in a crazy
Yes.
hat.
The AI does not understand prepositions.
Fuck.
like I said, it's a fun idea generator.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I want. It probably is one of these, something like this, but I want something like a palette generator. I think that'd be
I think that's a thing.
pretty useful.
Yeah, that's the thing. You just go to Midjourney, you get lots of blues and oranges.
Heh.
You listen here.